Hello, hello, what's going on everybody? How you guys doing? My name is Ian Robinson. I'm the lead ZBrush trainer and training manager here at Maxon, and we do ZBrush fun stuff and things, and we're super excited to have you here. So thank you, thank you. What's up, Travis? What's up, Gus? Welcome in. And yes, Gus, you did see a Pickle Rick. I was doing a Pickle Rick mashup with Doctor Strange, and I never finished that piece, so I'm kind of ashamed about that. So I should probably dig out some old projects. Actually, that would actually make a good stream where I go through, maybe vote on some old projects that I didn't finish. Because, you know, we all have those projects and things that we never finish. So we should probably go ahead and do something like that, of course. So let's go ahead and we're going to be getting into it, just setting up some music here. And of course, too, if you want to ask any questions, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help spread the word and love of ZBrush and everything ZBrush possible. But again, too, if you want to get into ZBrush for the first time, or if you're looking at the possibility of, you know, getting yourself a license, then you can absolutely do that. And if you're a student, which is really what I would like to showcase to you guys today, real quick, fast and hurry. Of course, we have the Adobe and Substance package, but if you're a student or a teacher, you just come over here to this link, and for 20 USD or whatever equivalent in your region, you'll get all of Maxon One for that price for the year. So really good deal. So definitely want you guys to check that out, because if you're not aware of it, and basically the school is like an EDU school. So if you're at like a Nomen, or if you're at a high-level university, I believe if you're in high school as well, that's also part of it. So yeah, definitely give that a shot. All right, what's going on, Video Mark? What's happening? Narvixa? Is that how you say it? Hello, hello. What's going on? Hello, saying how you doing? All right, so let's do a real quick recap. I was gonna do a new project today, but I think I'll do that next week. I want to finish this project up today. So basically, we went through and we were making Krang. And so I want to add a couple things and stuff to this to make this look just a little bit cooler. And I want to finish the seat today, and also to maybe figure out creating some sort of texture or whatnot on this, just to make it look a little bit busy and have some fun doing it. So let's go ahead and get into that today. So let me just kind of, I had to reorganize my desk a little bit. So I got this SenseLab tablet here. The display tablet, 24-inch, and I'm actually liking it a lot. So let me go ahead and put this over so it can be more usable, so I can speak directly to you guys. So what's going on? All right. So right now we have these placeholder wheels, and they look okay. You know, they're fine. They're not the best things ever. They just kind of, they're placeholders. A lot of times you'll see me when I work that I will block out the entire idea, and then we'll start to populate. So I want to create some new wheels, and actually what I want to do is if we come over here and we type in like let's call them like desk wheels, you know, let's go ahead and pull some reference and see something that might make more sense. So say something along this line right here actually looks pretty good. So this is actually a really good reference, gives us a general idea of what that should be like, and then we can go ahead and set that up. So this looks pretty cool. Looks like we got two wheels, some sort of shield, and a peg. Not too complicated. So let's go ahead and start that. So I'm going to go ahead and pin him usually above my head. Say something like this. Go boop. There we go. We got that. Over up Subtool. And let's go ahead and grab ourselves. So last week we made some eyeballs. So actually, let's do this. Before we get too far in it, I want to select everything that should be Krang. There we go. Perfect. I'm gonna do a Control F, which with the pizza box, that's going to open up the option to put everything in a subtool. And I'm going to call this Krang. So this will be the final stream for this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle piece. And these are the old eyes, so we're just going to go ahead and delete those. You don't need that anymore. There we go. And then we have this whole controller. This was the original like idea of the controller that we then eventually colored, so we don't need that. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And then let's come up here. Let's just go File, Save, of course, and let's save a new pose. Now, of course, we could have just hit Save Next. So if you're in 2023 or higher, the Save Next function lets me do that. But if you're in 2022, then you just do Save As. What's going on, Witch Cat Crochet? How you doing? Awesome. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create a new wheel set. So I'm going to go ahead and append a cylinder, and let's just turn off perspective for now. And I'm going to go ahead and just solo this out. And now we're going to come in here and let's do a couple things. First thing is I like to go to geometry. I'm actually going to move that guy right there. I'm going to go to geometry, and then I'm going to go to edge loop, and I like to delete loops. So that deletes all the unnecessary loops that we don't need. You're doing good. Myself, I'm doing good as well. No major complaints that I can really foresee at the moment. I mean, I'm sure I could complain about something in the world, but we don't need to do that. No, I'm doing really good. Thank you for asking. Awesome, awesome. Fun little random fact, if you don't know, Witch Cat Crochet is actually my sister. So sis, thanks for showing up. Always amazing to have you here. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and click this guy right here. Now, I want some cleaner topology because even though we're making these wheels and they're gonna be capped, the thing is that n-gons are no one's best friends, and I want a little bit of cleaner topology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to modify topology, mirror and weld, which is going to give me that perfect down the middle line. And now I can work with symmetry just the way I would like to. And then of course, you know, you guys know I have a new favorite brush in the world, and that is actually, so boop, 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 boop. Where are my brushes? Oh man, did I lose that brush? No, hold on. Okay, if I have to refine this brush. Give me 1 second. I've been pitching this brush a lot. I've actually been using Henry Cervanka's brushes for the remesh stuff, but I'll show you. You know what? Let's just make it. Let's just make the thing that I want to make, and then we'll go. I'll find that brush again. I had transferred a lot of my stuff onto my new hard drive, and I lost a lot of things, and I keep forgetting to transfer it over. So instead, actually, what we're going to do is I'm going to rotate this around so it's like this on the top. And then I'm going to go up to my transform, and I'm going to now turn on X and Z symmetry, not radial. Don't know why I did that. So X and Z now gives me that 4 placement. So you can see now I have 4 dots. And what I want to do here is I want to turn around and let's actually give it real quick. I'm going to just come here real quick, give it some edge loops real fast. Just so we have a couple of them, just so we have some topology to give ZRemesher. And then here, I'm going to go ahead and say same, but I'm going to go ahead and ZRemesh with the X and the Z coordinates. That should give me some cleaner topology. I'm going to go curve, we're going to go adaptive size down to 0, and let's just go ahead and hit ZRemesh. And you can see here, it gives me something a little bit nice. Now, my wheels kind of rounded out a little bit, and that's okay, but if I wanted that edge to be sharp, I can just say detect edges, and that will give me something a little bit nicer. So say something like this. And now, this is fine. This is exactly what I want, but if I wanted to make this a brush for later, I'm going to Control-Shift-D, duplicate that. I'm then going to go ahead and let's turn off. We don't need this anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and go to let's go to transform, turn off that Z for a second. We're going to go to PolyGroups, and we're going to group by normals. And then I'm going to just take this one piece and delete the rest. So we're going to go ahead and modify topology, delete hidden. And now this is going to be my main brush. I'm going to look at it here. I'm going to go ahead and say I want to create a new insert mesh, and I want to say this is brand new. And so this will be however many points it is. So let's see here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. So 16 points in total. Or sorry, 13 times it's 26. That's perfect. So now what I could do with this, now it's saved, is let's actually go back to this mesh. And let's go back to when we had it like this. And now I want to drag this out like this. And I'm going to control drag like I would for DynaMesh. And then, of course, if I were to control drag again, it would work. However, I need to make sure that I have polygroups. So let me back that up. Let me come over here again to polygroups, group by normal. So I have polygroups to work with. Drag this out here, drag, and then drag. And now that actually rebuilds that shape. So that's a way you can go about making that. And what's fun is we can go ahead and make sure that that's relatively close. So that's a way we can go about doing it. So you have a couple options. That Mesh Fusion is really good. I really like Henry's brush, and so I got to find that again. I've used it a few times, so if you watch previous streams, you know which one. Heyo, that one 3D artist, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, by the way, that one 3D artist, I saw your message on Discord. You messaged me the other day. I just haven't gotten to it, but I saw it, so I'll get back to you soon. Okay, so that is absolutely the way we can go about doing that. But what's cool is, well, we got this one, and this actually looks to be the kind of wheel that I would like. So we're going to go ahead and work with this piece because it's a lot easier. And let's go ahead and rotate this down like this. And I'm going to turn this around and rotate it like this. Make sure we're at that 90 degree. And I want to make sure that we're at true center, which is perfect. And let's take our Z modeler, boop, boop, delete that. And now I'm going to want to give this a little bit of, you know, some roundness to it because it's not really round right now. So we'll go inserts with multiple edge loops and interactive elevation. And this will allow us to kind of balloon this up a little bit. So we'll say something like, not that, we'll say, rotate this over. And we're going to say something like that, which will be perfect. And I don't want all this creasing, so I'm going to just get rid of the creasing by creasing and uncrease all. So that means that when we subdivide it, it's going to smooth and it's going to look like this, which is a lot better. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day to everybody who celebrates. Absolutely. I am doing good, doing good. I'm a bit tired, so we might run the stream for a couple hours like usual. I've been extending it out to 3 hours, but I'm a little bit tired and I have a lot to catch up with. So I might only run 2 hours today. We'll see how I feel. But I'm doing good otherwise. Do you do fun projects besides your working hour? If you had to, do you usually do the same workflow as your job, or do you do some other things like i.e. animation, short films, fun? Oh, dude, oh my gosh. So great question, Horizon. And actually, okay, so I do a lot of experimenting on my own time, and I do multiple projects. So there's always going to be a special place in the world for me for toys and collectibles and statues of that nature. However, in the past, and let me show you real quick, I have done some animation stuff. So one of my more favorite ones to showcase is actually this Blink-182 one. This was one of my favorites. This was my bunny that I did, and this was for Blink-182 specifically. And it's super amazing. I was really honored to be a part of this project, and you know, I love doing stuff that is a little bit different than what I normally do. So this was actually a really great, fun project. It started out as a kind of just pet project, something fun, something unique to do. Then the band got wind of it, and then they hired me to then eventually come on and just showcase it. So they saw all of this, and then this was ultimately what it was for, was their world tour that they started in Chicago. So it was amazing to be a part of this. So I do some stuff for animation. So I've done this Blink-182 one. The one before that was actually this Rexy project I talked about, where I made this model and then it was all set for animation. I want to get more into character creator, and I want to get a little bit more into Marvelous Designer as well. Most of my workflow still involves ZBrush, Substance Painter, Cinema 4D, and Redshift. But I'm moving into wanting to learn more tools and expand my knowledge of more pipelines. But being able to have done game assets in the past, like little props and things, and then some short films, I want to get a little bit more into it. Actually, really cool thing, if you don't know about this, so it's going to be shout out to them. But if you guys have not watched the VFX and Chill team, there's this thing called Raptors. Raptors. But with Raptors, there we go. So I actually remade, when was this released? This was a little bit ago. So we actually did an update for this Velociraptor that is used on our Maxon Red Giant team. So shout out to Seth and Hashi, the VFX and Chill. So they started this series, and then they wanted an updated version of the Raptors. So they started this with a different Velociraptor, but then eventually I came in and sculpted them a new one, and they really are going to be doing a lot of this stuff with them. So if you haven't checked out VFX and Chill, you guys are missing out because it's quite amazing. So I'm expanding my stuff, long-winded question, I'm expanding my stuff and things with them. But yeah, I definitely stick to the same types of workflows. The way you see me work is how I primarily work all the time. Sometimes I'll do a little bit more experimenting and trial and error, but for the most part, I will keep it relatively similar to what I showcase on a day-to-day. And with that, you got the long-winded answer. There we go. Okay, great. So yeah, great question. Not but Raptors, not but Raptors. You love the slick back hair, looks good. Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is the phase in which it's getting a little long, and I'm like, it's almost time for a haircut. Hey, what's going on, Chris? Doing good, bud. Doing good. Thanks for the answer. Really insightful. Absolutely. The thing to remember, and I think this is what makes us as artists super unique, is we want to be able to definitely experiment and challenge ourselves. Our job and our passion is creating. And I definitely think at the end of the day, if we stick with that inside of we just want to create and we want to feel good about stuff, then, you know, after a while, we'll even hit those walls where it's like, man, this isn't working for me, or I'm tired, blah, 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 right? So I find that the more we experiment, the better off we end up expanding our own knowledge, and then that ultimately helps us be more creative and get our vision out a lot faster. And also, too, I love collaborating with people. So, you know, being able to, like, I did a collaboration project with Patrick Foley, which I've been wanting to put that in my portfolio for some time. So Patrick Foley is the Patrick 4D. He's also a live streamer, so shout out to him if you have not seen his work. You got to go see his work. His stuff is amazing. We did a collaboration with SpongeBob, which is really cool. Actually, let me show you that. I feel like just sharing stuff with you guys today. Here, let me see something real quick. Because if I go to Google and I type in, if I type in IR Sculpts, let's see if I can find it. IR Sculpts, SpongeBob. Let's see what pops up. Can I Google myself? I sure can. How about that? That's pretty wild to think about. I've never Googled myself, so here we go. Anyway, we did this together, Patrick and I, and I ended up 3D printing it and stuff like that. I want to repaint it, and I still want to take it into Substance Painter, so and give it a final texture and look to it. But this was actually a big project. It's fun. So I love doing the collaboration. He did the junior clam, the baby junior clam, and then he did all of the environment, and then he did the food, and then I did plankton and SpongeBob, and then we just basically ended up designing the look and feel of it, and then we checked each other, and then boom, this is what we came up with. Super cool, really fun stuff. And then also too, this was an animation that I did in Cinema 4D. I'm starting to do more of these types of animations. This was a lot of fun. This also put my graphics card through the test. I need a new one. But this was an old project where I did a Conkers Bad Fur Day piece about 2.5 years ago for fun. And then I wanted to actually see what I could do with Cinema 4D's animation tools and Redshift. So this is a Redshift render, and this is and you see this in the intro of my streams. But now it's animated, and it's really cool. It's a lot different, and I really enjoyed this whole process. So such a cool thing. So even just with working with the tools here that are provided at work, I'm able to do a lot more. And the texturing and stuff like that was done in Substance, and then moved all that stuff over. So it was really fun to bring this to life. And if you want to take a closer look at this project, you can actually do that right here. Boom. So yeah, so definitely play. Dude, you love that game? Oh man, so do I. Oh my gosh. Dude, we should jam on that game sometime in the Discord. That would be super fun. Hey, what's up, bee? What's going on? I love to play the bees and the flower task. You and me both. You and me both. Okay, so let's go ahead and come forward here a little bit. So what we want to do, again, we were taking a look at that type of, where is it? Boop. So we were taking a look at this type of design and stuff like that. So we have these basic wheels, so we have these caps, and then we have this whole structure over it. So coming back to this, we need to basically just kind of expand on this a little bit more. So here with this guy right here, I'm going to Control-Shift-D duplicate. I like to try to keep things pretty uniform. And then what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to hover over this edge. We're going to go with our polygroup, and I'm going to say, boom, this is what we end up wanting to do here. And so I'm actually going to just grab this guy real fast. And the rest of this, we're going to turn around and we're going to go to polygroups and auto groups. So this way I can grab this guy, and then I can just make these one. And let's go ahead and delete hidden. Also the teddies in that game were super amazing. Yeah, let's link up. Absolutely. Usually I just lurk, but I had to comment for that Conker skull. Very cool. Oh, thanks, Finch. Thank you. And also thanks for commenting. That's awesome. Yeah, here. No, okay, I put that down. Awesome. Just came to drop by for a while. Gonna take a break from Alex. Had a breakthrough on him. Yes, B. That's great to hear, bud. That's super great to hear, man. Super exciting. Okay, let's hover over this QMesh and let's go ahead and let's expand on this a little bit. Now, not solo, that's not what I want to do. Let's go to V8 and let's just grab the two things that we really need. Gonna turn that off for a second, and I want to kind of see what this is looking like, and so I'm actually going to collapse this edge. Let's go to Insert, Single Edge Loop, and I'm going to collapse this a little bit, and I want to round this out. So we'll go back to multiple edge loops with an elevation and kind of just round that out a bit. And now here I want to support this sharp edge, so we'll go back to Insert Edge Loop. We'll come in and we'll support this sharp edge so it gets a little bit of natural fall off and just feels a little bit more like it's capped, right? And then we'll just go ahead and push this into the wheel so that gives us a little bit of separation right about there. We can also just scale this down just a little bit. So we can turn on our local symmetry and we can just kind of scale that in. Yeah, something like that. That's pretty cool. Okay. We got to recreate the bar with the boulder people. Ooh, that could be a fun project. Absolutely. Conkers multiplayer was so much fun. It really was, dude. 100%. If you two could spare a few pixels, that would be great. Can you start from the beginning? Luckily, Alex, we were able to like replay it, but I know what you mean. Yeah. All right, so let's come through here. Now I'm just going to go ahead, come back to this wheel, Control-Shift-D, duplicate that one more time. But now what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on the one piece. So I'm going to go ahead from here and actually just delete hidden. So let's go delete hidden. Let's set this back in the middle. And now I'm going to go ahead and kind of expand this up. I'm going to stretch it and blow it up so it covers the majority of what's going on here. And now what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and let's do some self-isolation here. So we're going to grab this on this piece, and then I also pretty much at this point here I'm going to grab the select lasso, and we're just going to get rid of this whole section. So we're just left with this piece, and we'll delete hidden so that we have that. And now this is kind of where we're at. And what I'll do is I'll scale this down and stretch that out just a bit. We'll just make this fit just a little bit better. Get some good fitment that's going to happen here. Now we will be 3D printing this, so we're definitely going to want to kind of figure out ways to attach this a bit better. And again, if we go back to the wheel design here, we can see that there's a bit of a gap inside of here, but also there seems to be some sort of welt. So we're going to be making almost like a hinge of some sort. So I'm going to, for now, just blow this up, say something like this. Say great, and we're going to open this up here. And then let's see if we can keep this as one piece. We're going to select this on the inside. There we go. Maybe we'll end up masking this off. There's another way we can go about doing this that's probably a lot easier. But I want to see something real fast. Okay. Actually, this could be pretty cool. Okay, so let's try this. So we're going to try a few things. So I'm actually going to really push this out this way. And then I'm going to use clip curve. So clip curve is designed to flatten things out. Boom. That gets flattened just like that, which is really nice. Now, we could see that this actually could be possibly a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? This could be a little too thick on the inside, but we are considering the weld factor. So these wheels won't actually be moving. They just need to be, quote, close enough, right? So we'll say, yeah, this should be fine for what we're going for. And then I'm going to go ahead and just mask off these areas. I'm going to bring this up like this. I'm going to mask off this area and this area. Nope, lied to you. I'm going to mask off this area and this area. And bring this up. Clear that mask. Whoa. Whoa. What's going on, Ian? What you doing? Good question. Now I'm going to come up here, move this, and kind of round this up like this. So then when I go ahead and smooth this, it's going to kind of round itself off. And let's give it some supporting edge loops here in the middle. So we're just going to add in some edge loops like this. That should be fine. And then now what we can do here is we can just use the crease function. So I want to kind of crease all of the edges that just need to be creased. So I'm just going to hit crease, and that will allow some nice round off here. But here's the cool part. I do want this to kind of have a little bit of a fall off to it. So with the creased levels, I can kick this down to say something like level 2, which means that after subdivision level 2, it will start to slowly round. And then it's going to take a look at anything that's 45 degrees angle of that tolerance. So now, if I start to control D subdivide, boom. First subdivision level, no big deal. We're at subdivision level 2. Subdivision level 3, subdivision level 4. Now you can start seeing that rounding coming up. And it just looks so much more natural, just a little bit better. And that's going to go ahead. And this will actually weld quite nicely. So now I could just like maybe throw this down just a little bit more, right? Give it something like that. So that way we know now the wheels will be welded to the bottom of this, but this will also just have that nice kind of shape to it. All right, let's see here. We got a lot of fun stuff. So can you build a career without a degree? So Shades 256. I'm going to answer this question with my own experience, and I really want to preface that this is my own experience, and this is not necessarily my recommendation, okay? I think having a career, a degree has its benefits, 100%, but I am somebody who unfortunately never had the opportunity to really even consider college. I graduated high school in 2001, and I didn't really have the ability to go to college. And this was very detrimental to me in the early stages, because that's in the 90s and early 2000s, that's what was really being pushed. And I was thinking about being an animator, so they were like, you got to go to art school, you got to do this, got to do that. The thing that college provides that I've seen now, even not being a part of college, is the fact that it allows you to network. But you got to find the school that's right for you if you're going to go. That's why there's schools like Nomen, kind of shout out to them, hashtag not a sponsor. Nomen is a school that allows you to be able to kind of, you know, go to school, have a degree in this field, and have a good chance at being placed in a job. And they do focus on VFX and games and some other stuff. So, however, if you have a very strong portfolio, a really good work ethic, and you put yourself out there, then yeah, you can land a job and you can get to a spot that can be successful. And it's a long road, and it was something that definitely took me a lot longer to do, because I went through a lot of things. I had a lot of struggles throughout my career. I was in aerospace for a long time, and then I was always some sort of artist, you know, so I did photography, I did drawing, and those photography skills and those drawing skills kind of, they do help, but I don't draw much anymore. But the photography knowledge I really lean into. And then videography, so I kind of know how some things should be framed and shot. So I did a lot of things to kind of get me to here, but then I studied, and then I did still take the 3D character workshop and a couple classes under David Igo and some random tips and tricks. I reached out to artists like Mike Thompson like 3-4 years ago and was like, hey, review my portfolio, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Shane Olson helped me with that a lot too. So I really tried to connect with those different artists and get their opinions and just was like, please be honest with me. And that ultimately was really beneficial. So the long story here is that could you do it without a degree? The answer is yes, but I really just want you to know that that's my own personal experience and everyone is different. And it's not whether or not it's good or bad. It's more of the fact that what do you want to do? Does it make sense for you to go to school? And if it does, then find the right school. If you have a good portfolio, you're putting yourself out there and you're like, I don't know if I can afford school, you know, it doesn't hurt to look for a job and try to find your way. At the end of the day, you want to still network. School can help with that because you get to meet people, you get to meet your peers and you get to meet, you know, people above you that have been in the industry, can help you get there. And those key connections are really helpful to know where to look for jobs, how to find jobs, and to even know that ZBrush offers 13 different industries that you can work in if you know ZBrush well. So these are things to really lean into. So yeah. That's my long-winded answer on that, but I really just want to make that clear. My own experience didn't involve a lot of schooling, but I still did take workshops and I still networked and I really put myself out there to try to achieve my goals. So hopefully that's helpful to you, but that was absolutely my journey. Okay, great question, by the way. Perfect. Sounds great. 3D artist. Some time ago, you commented on All Might that I posted in your Discord, and that meant a lot to me. Thank you. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. If you guys post in my Discord, you guys can always tag me, by the way. Like, the Discord is there for everyone to come in and find their space and connect with people. And there are a lot of people in that Discord that are just amazing artists, and they hang out and they offer their time. So here, if you want to just hang out and tag me and have, you know, or just find other people, it's definitely a place for you to go. There's also, too, if you guys aren't aware, we do have an official ZBrush Discord as well, that if you guys are having any type of thoughts or if you come across some troubleshooting issues and stuff and you need like direct access to like someone in ZBrush, then besides support's always good, but there's also the official ZBrush Discord. Yeah. Okay, great. It's 2 a.m. here. Can't company the longer time to rest. Dude, get some rest, man. Indy Zero, thank you for stopping by. Much appreciated. T-shirt day. Yep. Yeah, I do have my Maxon One T-shirt. Yep. What are the 13 different industries? There's, I'll name a few, but there's a bunch of them. I can't list them all in my head, but we have automotive. Not gonna lie, if you like cars like I do, and you want to do body kits, you want to do car designs, ZBrush is in that. So you got automotive, you have aerospace, you have jewelry, architecture, concepting, so R&D, you have illustration, you have obviously statues and collectibles, you have games and film, which they kind of go in the same, but then there's paired off. You got specialists in VFX that's much different than your games. So depending, you know, games branch off into mobile games, and then of course you have your AAA studio title games and PC and stuff like that. What else is there? I don't know if I said architecture, but if I didn't, architecture uses ZBrush from time to time. So there's a few for you. Those are the big ones. But yes, absolutely, there's so many. If you're into jewelry, like you want to make your own jewelry, you can make a lot of money, like doing high-end jewelry and stuff. In fact, Tamal Whittlebach is somebody who is a really good example. Eric Keller is a good example of people who have like really done well in jewelry. I've actually done a couple jewelry pieces for a few local studios here in Los Angeles, more during the pandemic. I made a couple belt buckles and like a ring or two. So it's kind of fun. It's actually pretty neat. And also too, it's a great way to just like make a custom gift. So you have a lot of that. And then there's also, you know, when you're designing for 3D printing, you have resin, filaments, metal printing. and a few others. So there's a lot of cool stuff. You know, ZBrush is used in theme parks, big designs, big statues. They do a lot of ZBrush there. You can actually go into memorial statues, which is much different than collectibles because there's a very specific way to do memorial statues. There, you know, like minting, like coins and stuff are designed in ZBrush. So yeah, there's a few. There's a few for you. Okay, I've been my hands have been a little not moving as much as my mouth. But all great questions, guys. So here, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and Control-Shift-D, duplicate this. I'm going to kick this back down to a lower resolution for right now because I want to use an IMM brush, and I want to get a couple like just simple post-looking things. So let's just design something real quick. So let's grab our basic primitive IMM, and we're just going to get a basic cylinder with no edges, and we're just going to drag this out. Make sure that that's just right there where we need it to be, and I'm just going to make sure that that's truly center. Perfect, say something like that. I'm going to grab this and delete hidden. So modify topology and delete hidden, and perfect. And again, we're just going to end up doing that same old trick. Just going to put this here, perfect, where we're actually going to ZRemesh this. So we're going to go up here to transform ZRemesh, boom, 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 boom. We're going to detect edges. Perfect. And then we're just going to go, let's do this at like a level 2, ZRemesh that. And let's just divide in half a few times. Because I don't want that end gone. I want something like this. It's beautiful. And then I do want to make sure this is truly flat. So clip curve, I'm going to clip curve this end just like that. Perfect. And let's just get rid of that. There we go. And then let's just delete these. I'm going to drag this down like this. And we're going to end up creating, we're going to do a little fun design here in a second. So medical illustration, animation. Thank you, Ryan. Absolutely. Good morning. Yeah, there's quite a few. Hey there, I came just in a minute short. Ian can't read. You've been talking about ZBrush's use in jewelry. It really is awesome in that perspective. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Actually, I was just talking to, I've been talking to a client that wanted to know tips and tricks in how to take 3D scans, 3D scan cleanup. That's a big one. So take 3D scans of furniture and how to detail and use that for AR and VR promo and set design, and just the ability to add the sculptural details, that high fidelity detail in ZBrush, so then they can move that to the next stage. So there's a lot of stuff. So set decor, that's a big one as well. And as AR and VR kind of kick up in the world, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more need for custom-made models and stuff like that. So yeah, it truly is just a really cool world to be a part of. So we're going to uncrease all here, and what we're going to do is we're going to just do a really fun design. So I'm going to control drag this edge loop here like this, and then I'm going to scale this down and move this up. Okay, and control drag again, because what I want is basically some kind of notches to make it feel like it plugs into something. Gonna control drag that again, move this on up, control drag one time, there we go, and just kind of move that there. Again, we're kind of making just like that little peg. Gonna control drag again, come in here, control drag, boom, 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 control drag. And then here we're going to not taper that, we're going to control drag. We're not gonna taper that, we're gonna come up like this. Say something like that. Okay, great. So now we have this shape here. And then what I'm going to do is turn around and add interactive elevation and kind of give it this peg here. Now, you don't need to do this. Part of this is going to be hidden. This is just for my own kind of idea, thought, and design. And then I'm just going to go ahead and increase accordingly. So now I get some nice solid shapes. So this kind of helps me just kind of visualize what this looks like. I can also Control-Shift-D on this, back this up, not back this one up, go up to this one, back this up just a little bit. Boop, 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 like this. Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. And then I'm going to, yes, sounds good. Clear that mask. Kind of make it seem like it insets in this thing a little bit more. Say something like that. There we go. We'll just crease that. So then this looks good. This looks good. And let's just give this a different poly group. Perfect. So now we got our main wheel. Now we need to create the legs that need to have this kind of quote rotate. So this will actually be kind of cool to have this like this, because if I wanted to weld all this together and then use this as like an animate, then at least I have a pivot point that's going to insert. So kind of think of this like a almost like an articulated piece at this point. Let's give this a little bit of color too, by the way. So I'm going to give this never go true black. We are going to kind of go a darker color. Let's go RGB and let's go color fill. And then we're going to color fill this one. For this, we'll lean this a little bit more towards like kind of a white. And then this will be this color. And then we're going to go kind of a bluish color for the wheel. Boom. There we go. We have some color, and that's going to be quite nice. Let's go ahead and hit save. How do we get started with ZBrush and Cinema 4D? Great question. And the answer is we have a Getting Started series specifically for you and a few other things. So I'll share the link right now, but if you basically here, you go up to your, just go to maxon.net. And this is free, by the way. The courses, the Getting Started series are free. So you go here to Cineversity, and right when you get to this website, you'll actually be able to, and I'll just link it right now. And so right now we have Cinema 4D Getting Started, Redshift Getting Started, which is the Cinema 4D version of Redshift. We have ZBrush over here. And then if you move on forward, you also have a few others, VFX, Magic Bullet Forger, and stuff like that. So you have these Getting Started series, and all you do is you just click the ZBrush one if you want to get started in ZBrush. And Anna Carolina is the one who actually worked closely with myself to get these going, and her hard work really paid off. It's 27 videos, but it's like maybe an hour's worth of content in total, maybe an hour and a half total. So here is the straight Getting Started in ZBrush. And of course, too, if you don't have ZBrush, there's a trial period. You can download the trial, follow along with this. And by the time you finish this, just a couple days, you'll be well-versed in how to navigate. And then ZBrush is a program based on experience. So the more you're in it, the easier it gets. And over time, you'll just kind of start realizing where stuff is, and muscle memory will kick in. Oh yeah, cosplay, costume design, thank you, B. Creating body kits, thank you, B, absolutely. There's just so many industries, yeah. Just get in there and make something. If you do 3D scanning, fun fact, and maybe we'll make this a live stream. Okay, so you can hold this to me. Some point this year, before this year is out, I want to get my car 3D scanned, because I have a fun car, and I want to get it scanned, and then I want to try my hand at creating a custom body kit. And if so, then I want to eventually get that 3D printed if we think it looks cool, or have somebody take a look at possibly getting that 3D printed and molded and then set for that kit. Although I haven't done a lot of automotive design, it'd be fun to try it. And worst case scenario is I end up not doing so good, and that's okay. But I know some people who would probably have a fun time creating a body kit who might know a little bit more than me, and then that would be really cool to get a custom one made. So I got plans. So I play. Yep. I have a saying, practice makes permanent, okay? I do not believe in practice makes perfect, and I'll tell you why. Because no one I've ever come across is perfectly executing everything all the time. You're human. You're gonna make mistakes. If you're a vampire or an alien, then maybe you got a shot at life that's a little bit better on the perfect side. But for me, it's all about it's practice is gonna make it a permanent part of you. It's an extension of you. It's that muscle memory. So I always go by that saying, practice makes permanent. The more you go in and you do it, the easier it is to retain that information. But this also joins the whole fact that there is a way to do things wrong, right? And if you repeatedly do the same thing over and over again and it's wrong all the time, then those bad habits become harder to break. But those bad habits become permanent because you practice that way. So this is why the practice makes permanent is such a good saying for me, because it really is. However you practice or whatever you do over time, that will become a more permanent way of doing things. And if you practice correctly and you spend the time doing it, you're gonna really get to a point where it's just ultimately, easier for you over time. So I know I say, yeah, do this, do that, easy peasy. I see the comment, like I do say that sometimes, but that's just because in my brain I've broken it down to such a simple task, and I've done it enough that it just becomes a lot easier. So yeah. So there's that. Oh, dude, that's such a great quote when you say a couple of Bruce Lees. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. Yep. If you have done the same thing over and over and over and over, this is why anatomy is important. If you're doing anatomy studies, etc. Like, yeah, 100%. So true. Okay, great. So now, we have our base wheel, guys. We do have it. Boom. It's looking pretty cool, right? I'm going to go ahead and kind of rotate this so it's facing the correct position. Boom. And we're going to drag this all the way down. Let me drag you down. Okay, great. So now we have this. Let's come back and see. Okay, we have some eyes, teeth that we did not want a part of that. So let's drag this down. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's back this up. Back this up. Let's just drag this way down. Let's open it back up here. Why is that disappearing? What is happening here? Oh, it's because everything else. Okay, I see. It's because everything else is not visual. Got it. Okay. There we go. It's all starting to make sense now. Is it? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, so let's do this. Let's scale this wheel down. Perfect. Okay, now what we need to do is take a look at the actual chair itself, right? We need to actually take a look at that. And also this controller piece up here. We don't need to see the wait, why is this up here? What is that? Do we need this one? We're gonna say save, and then we're just gonna delete this one piece that's selected. Nope, never mind. We're gonna load our tool back. Good job, Ian. This is why we save. We save because we didn't mean to delete the entire folder, but we deleted the entire folder because it was closed. So you want to open the folder, and with the selected tool, you then want to say delete. And there we go. Okay. Beautiful. Now we have that. Now we can hit save. My aim is to build VFX graphics. Nice. Jeanette, that's really cool. Absolutely. Well, you could do that within ZBrush. You can start building up tons of different assets, and then you can start learning the VFX pipeline. VFX and Chill would be great for you, actually, because they do a lot of After Effects and stuff. And here, let's do this. So let me send you to this YouTube channel. You guys will love this. So VFX and Chill, Seth and Hashi, they are fantastic. And you would absolutely love them. So... in fact, they're going to be doing a live stream in a couple days. So you're not going to want to miss this. So here is this, but you can take that link, and then you can also you can follow them to do a thing. So yes, yeah, very, very cool stuff. Hey, what's up, Zachary? I'm doing great. How you doing, buddy? You watched it? You should definitely, yeah, definitely look into it. Great stuff. if I'm working in Proxy Pose and forget to activate Transpose Master, how could I create a layer for my new pose and retain an original A pose? Ooh, you coming in hot. Love it. I love it. Okay, cool. I'll show you. I will show you. All right, I saved it. I'll show you. I will show you. I'll say that a million times. Okay. I just saved it, so we're pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just risk it for a biscuit, and let's open up a new project. Cool. Okay. So Proxy Pose. This is a feature that came out, I think, in 2023, and it's definitely a fun one. So here's the thing. So Proxy Pose can be used independently or in conjunction with your other posing tools. So if you want to actually take your proxy mesh out of ZBrush and link it to Character Creator, Mixamo, AccuRig, or any other posing system you do, or you want to play around with the, creating your skeletons and weight painting, and then taking that to something like Cinema 4D, Maya, whatever, then you absolutely can do that and bring that back in. There are a couple tricks with Proxy Pose that you need to remember in order to do this correctly, but I love what you're at. So here is my main model right now. And now the cool part about Proxy Pose is that this model here has subdivisions, and when I kick into Proxy Pose, and then if I kick back out of it, it will remember my subdivisions. And there's good reason for that. Sometimes we just don't have a low enough low in order to support what we want to achieve. And other times we don't really we're just lazy, and we just want to just proxy pose it because we got a good mesh that we like. And then it holds all those details for you. Creates that proxy cage and just holds all that information for you. So that's one thing to remember, which is awesome. I really use it with DynaMesh a lot. But here's the thing. So the active points, it is what is crucial when using Proxy Pose. So you absolutely 100% can hold a T pose and try other test posing. And the way you're going to go about doing that is first you're going to go ahead and find the Proxy Pose level of resolution you want. So at the very top left, it's going to give you a percentage. And what you want to do, and this is what I do, is I turn on the wireframe, I grab a material that everyone in the world can see, looks good, and then I just take the resolution slider and I start sliding that down. Now the keep details, this is a good slider if you got a lot of sharp edges. If you don't have a lot of sharp edges, then it's you can still like boost this up a little bit, but I rarely touch this. I keep this fairly low, but sometimes it's helpful just to have it at like a 10. But it's defaulted at 0, and if you have a character that's more organic, like let's say this, then it's a lot easier to just use to find a good resolution. But if you have like a rock character, or you have like something that you're trying to deform and it has, like I said, a lot of sharp edges, then that's something that you want to kind of play with and keep in mind. But I'm going to go ahead and start sliding this around. Now, the more you slide it to the left, the lower this number, the closer it is going to get to the original mesh. And the more you slide it to the right, the lower resolution it's going to get. At some point in time, it will absolutely, without a doubt, prevent you from going any lower, because there's only it can only go so low. So what I like to do is kind of see, like, anywhere between 1 to 2, maybe 5%. I don't usually go above 10%. I just try to find something that looks pretty good. So that's like 5.5%. Every model is going to vary on that. But now the key thing to remember is this number up here, active points. Also the song, I don't know if you guys can hear the song. I think I ask that every week. This song's banging. I love it. So this has active points, 7,233 active points. This number is the hard set. If I were to turn off Proxy Pose and turn it on again, that number just changed from 7,233 to 7,333. So the trick here is that while it will remember around the same percentage that you had it on, the number won't be the same. So what you want to do is you want to first find the mesh that you're going for and say, this is good, this is turned on. Then I'm going to duplicate this mesh in its Proxy Pose state. So I'm going to Control-Shift-D. That's going to go ahead and duplicate that. And now this right here, I'm going to rename this T-Pose or A-Pose or whatever pose. Name it whatever you want. Then I'm going to duplicate it again. And now this is going to be my test pose, right? So now I'm going to say, you know what? Let me go ahead here. Let me grab like the move brush or something. I'm going to turn off symmetry. I'm going to go ahead and mask off the shoulder, right? I'm going to go ahead and plop this guy here. I'm going to go ahead and put his arm down. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, dude, we're walking, we're talking, it's all fine. Let's go, boop, we're going to do this, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and maybe do this one. Switch this off here. Reset this guy, right? Put him off over here. Perfect. There is a new way of moving the gizmo. I'll show you that in a second. But so, you know, let's just do the way most people would do it for now, so you can kind of just quick, fast, in a hurry, right? If I wanted to move just the leg here, I can actually come in, press and hold Control, drag this up, get like a soft mask, and that's going to snap that in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and do opposites attract. I'm going to move this here. Actually, put that there. Put that somewhere around here. Okay, that, whatever. You want to be that cool? Here, let's go like this. I'll just move the knee. Make that a little bit sharper right there. Okay, so we have our first pose. Not very cool, but whatever. Let's say we're happy with this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this, you know, pose 1. 1. Bam. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back up to my T pose. I'm going to duplicate this again. And now I'm going to move this down, and I'll call this pose. I'll call this pose 2. Okay. And now for this one, I'm going to go ahead and copy. I'm just going to maybe move his neck a little bit. So now this guy's, he's looking up. In fact, you know, he's not looking up enough for me. So he's really looking up. There we go. There's our other one. Ah, it's happening. And then let's actually go one step further, pose number 3. And in this case, what we'll do here is I will come in, mask this guy off. Maybe we didn't want him, maybe we want him free falling. So now he's kind of falling down like this. Boom, 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 boom. Obviously, you guys are going to do a much better job than me at the moment, but you'll see what I'm talking about. So bam, things are happening. Oh no, I'm falling. Please help me. Boom, whatever. Okay, he's hulking out. All right, so we have all of our poses or things and stuff like that that we want. Fantastic. Now here's the thing. I have my main piece. I got a T pose. I have pose 1, pose 2, pose 3. Okay. Now the thing is that I'm going to go back to the main one right here where it says male ZBrush. I'm going to rename this, you know, we'll rename this original, whatever. Okay. I can't spell. I can't think today. I'm not original today. All right, and I can't even spell. So I have original here. Now art director comes by and says, let me see those poses. So then you say, okay, great. So now I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? I'm going to go back up here to geometry. I'm going to go proxy pose, overwrite pose. Now look at this. I have T pose, pose 1, pose 2, pose 3. So now what happens is that at any point in time, you want to save this. You're going to want to say save as, and you're going to want to be like pose tests. Boom. Okay? And then what you want to do at this point is you want to be able to say, okay, I need to overwrite this pose. So I need to be able to say pose 1. This is it. This is locked in. Or, you know, I can come over here and say overwrite and say pose 2. Okay, perfect. This is good. I also would recommend that when you do a lot of test poses like this, you save a project with history stored. You specifically save a project with history stored because you'll have history to fall back on. That's crucial in this step, and I highly recommend it. But either way, I can come to overwrite pose, and I can say pose 1, pose 2, whatever. And at any point in time, with this guy right here taking on these poses, if I need to, I can just come in here and say, go ahead and set that pose, and then now it has all the detail. But the reason why I said you want to keep history is that I can Control Z this at any point in time and keep those active points back just in case. So that's where the project is really going to help you out. But now let's say you're coming through, and let's say, you know, you've done some stuff and you started sculpting on him. So let's do some sculpting stuff. We're like, yeah, we're sculpting. Life is good. Blah, 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 blah. We moved on. And then your boss says, wait, wrong pose. I messed up. My bad. We meant pose 2 or pose 1. We meant the walking pose. You're like, okay, great. Well, if you have history, then we get to back up and we get to reinstate the same proxy pose. But then we could say, okay, he meant this one, right? So let's just come back. Sure, let's make sure we go to geometry, overwrite, and then we say, boom, pose 1. We got our pose 1, and now make sure I'm on the right one. Say that's perfect. Okay, great. And then I can come through. What's cool about this is that you have all these other different versions stored off into the side. So if you ever need to go back to the original, even if you lost your history, all of this gets saved in its proxy pose state. So I can always go back to my original and undo that proxy pose, and that will go back to the original detailed version that I had. Now, you're not going to be able to kill all history and then do a bunch of sculpting on the final posed version and snap back to the T pose with all the major changes you made. So this is really a thought process of you have a final posed character, and now you want to be able to test pose and do some stuff, but you need to snap back to the original at some point in time. This would be the way I would recommend doing it. It's definitely an improvement to what used to be, which is never being able to snap back to it. But with Proxy Pose and the Override Pose, you now have the ability to at least retain a T-posed version. So if you're getting close to final, and by the way, this is subtool dependent. So, you know, you can basically at this point, you know, merge things together that makes sense that you want to have moved, but you could always have your main mesh ready to snap back to that original idea. Everything else, however, like, you know, if you wanted to, you know, pose like different things, you can use Proxy Pose for every subtool and stuff. Again, it's a bit of a step by step, but hopefully this was helpful and answered those questions. What's up, Carbon 44444? He's doing the limbo. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jeanette, no problem, no problem. Hey, Carbon, you actually, I said 4444, but you actually are now Carbon Art 44. What are you doing to me, man? You changing that? You changing that on me? Sometimes when you proxy pose IMMs, I insert do not move. How do I get those to move? I would not recommend using IMM brushes on a proxy posed mesh. I don't think that works the way. If I proxy pose the mesh, I would avoid that, because the idea of the proxy pose is that's not the original, it's not the final mesh. You're generating a proxy cage to ultimately get you in a position in which you can like manipulate the mesh easier than you would with whatever current mesh you have. It's really designed to help you move and test animate more than anything else. So sculpting on top of it, while we did say, and yes, you can absolutely come in here and, you know, make some sculpting changes, right? The thing with so I can make some sculpting changes, and then we could say proxy pose, and that will do that. However, IMM brushes are designed to be an addition to it, and with the intent of welding or separating, right? So anytime you bring in an IMM brush, like let's say a gear icon and stuff like this, it's aborting. Like you shouldn't be, yeah, proxy pose is activated. It's actually not letting you do that. So you couldn't really use it. So maybe I'm not understanding your question correctly. Oh, they were placed prior to activating proxy pose, not during. Okay, yeah, because you can't do it during. So forget everything I just said. So let me reread your question with that knowledge in mind. Sometimes when I proxy pose the IMMs I inserted do not move. Did you mask those off? Let me see something here. Let me see something real quick. Let's see. Maybe you're one of the cool kids that like found a bug. So I'm going to end up breaking the setup, by the way. So the setup I just showed you, I'm now going to try to replicate this. So actually, let me do this. I'm going to Control Shift D. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just keep this solo. I'm going to turn everything else off though, and then I'm going to turn off Proxy Pose. Let me see something real fast. And then let me insert a couple IMMs. Of course, we can't do that with subdivision. So did you, let me ask you a question. When you inserted your IMMs and you used Proxy Pose, did you go to Transpose Master? Is that where you ended up moving things? Here's my cool guy. No, you did not. You had sent an update a few days ago. The buckle, bolt, screw IMM. So you had them on different. You had them on different stuff. Yeah, do it, Carbon. It's definitely a fun thing. Okay. Maybe I'm a little lost then on what you're trying to. So you. So like I said, Proxy Pose is subtool dependent. So if you are moving into Transpose Master with Proxy Pose, you should be able to do that, and I'll test it right now. And you should also be able to move. You should be able to move any other subtool with a pizza box at the same time you move your proxy mesh. The only time you cannot do that is if you are here. And so I had some masked off areas. And let's say I switch back to this guy. Now I obviously can't, and I proxy pose him. So I go proxy pose, boom. And now I want to move him, so I mask this off, invert this, and I go my pizza box and I select stuff, right? Then obviously if it's masked, it's not going to move. But you should be able to, and again, I always recommend please clear your masks before you ever go into Transpose Master. And then here I should be able to now just move everything. Boom, let's send that back. T-pose mesh, bada bing, bada boom, and that should snap with you an update in real time. So, yeah. Okay, gym time. Nice, man. Nice. Happy stream. Gonna watch this later. Absolutely, dude. Great to have you, Carbon44. Man, it doesn't feel the same. Carbon444. They're all merged into one subtool. They were merged into one subtool. Okay, so it should work. In theory, that should work. Did you merge down with Proxy Pose? Let me try that. Let me just answer my own question. If I have Proxy Pose, and maybe that's where it could break. So let's find out. Let's find out. So I'm going to merge. This is Proxy Pose. This is not. Can I merge this down? Boop. Yep, I absolutely can. Move this on over. Proxy Pose. Well, that doesn't work. So don't do that. Don't do that. So with Proxy Pose, don't merge into another item. I'm going to bring that to the team. That's good to know. But yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't have moved, honestly, to be as many 4 as you need. This is my alter ego. Perfect, man. Much appreciated. Carbon 4. Yeah, it's just way cooler. It's way cooler to start with that. Just have to say. Okay, cool. Look at all the cool stuff I've been doing lately. All right. Well, now we know. So knowing's half the battle. And yeah, but that's Proxy Pose in a nutshell. I did all my blockouts prior to Proxy Pose, did not add any additional geometry with it activated. Well, now that we know we should never do that and that you didn't do that. So honestly, I have no idea. I'd have to actually look at your file. So I may at some point be in the Discord later this week. And then if you're there, I can always ping you and we could try to see if we can figure it out. Sometimes it's file dependent. Sometimes there's just something there that's not obvious that once you dive in deep, you realize, oh, this is the thing. So And that's the thing. The more subtools you add to any project, the more chances you have of running into a problem that's not obvious. And sometimes it's hard for me to assess a problem just over text. So it might just be one of those things we'll have to take a deeper look at some point. But still, great question, and I'm glad we went down that rabbit hole, because if you have not tried Proxy Pose yet, please do so. It's actually a great feature. It's one of the newer features, and there are already companies like Anatomy Tools who have like really started utilizing it. If you don't know who Anatomy Tools are and you need an écrochet, yes, go check them out. So, okay, cool. All right, let's continue making our chair. So let's do this. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's bust back open, not that. Let's bust back open, where is it? Did I close it on accident? Probably. You probably did. Oh no, here it is, it's right there, desk wheels. Okay, great. So now what I wanna do is I actually wanna go to images, and what I wanna do is look up, I'm gonna type in automotive. I'm gonna type in automotive, not desk, but automotive mechanic, geez, Ian, chairs. Maybe it'll give me what I'm looking for. Search. Thank you. Aha, there we go. Nice. Okay, cool. So let's take a practical design and let's alter the other design just a little bit. And yes. Okay, cool. So maybe something along these lines would be a lot cooler and make a little bit more sense, kind of making it our own, which is awesome. So we can do either something like this, or we could do something like this, which actually this might make a lot more sense, just given the fact of what it's supposed to be. So we're gonna focus on maybe this fills in design. So let's come in here and let's delete the things we don't need anymore. So I really don't need this. Boop. No, not the one I meant to delete. Let's try that again. Come on. Okay, let's grab this guy. Let's open it up. Let's delete. There we go. There we go. Yep. Just always say yes. Boom. Boom. All right. There we go. I'm like, I got this guy right here. Perfect. Okay. Now let's start moving in. So first things first, we have these wheel desk. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to I want to merge these together so that they are absolutely not welded, but they are together. And let's go ahead and just do auto groups so that we have all these different components to it. And even still, when I smooth that down, it all looks like one cohesive piece. So that's perfect. So we'll just call these our wheels. The wheels on the bus go round and round. And then let's move that up into the seat. We can deal with that part later. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. So let's do that. And then let's actually now create the actual chair part itself. So we're going to insert just a basic cube here. And I'm not really worried about too much, but let's get the overall shape. Again, we're looking at a shape that basically comes out at an angle and then drops down. So this is going to be pretty fun. So we're going to go to initialize, Q cube. Okay. We're going to turn this on its side. And let's go ahead and mask off. Say something like this. So it's nice and angled this way. And I'm actually going to want to taper this just a little bit. And then, you know what we're going to do? What are we going to do? Try to take over the world. I'm going to try something. Let's try, I haven't done this in a little bit, and this would be kind of fun. This first thing that came to my mind. So we're going to hover over here, QMesh, polygroup all. I'm going to grab this. And actually, let's just do this. Let's go polygroups, auto groups, group by normals actually. Grab this guy. So then it's here. Okay, And I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of rotate this down at like 90 degrees. Say something like that. And then we're just going to QMesh that out. Say something like that. Let's mask that off and let's bring that down. So now we have these 2 points right here. So let's actually go to bridge. I want to do 2 polys. There we go. Yeah, that actually works out great. So actually, let's drag this down just a little bit more, say something like that. And then boom, boom, perfect. And then what we can do now is we can just insert a multiple edge loop, but keep our groups. Let's just do 1. And let's do our mask lasso. Holding shift to kind of snap that something close to what we want. Let's bring that up a little bit. So we get kind of this effect. Let's actually back this one up just a little bit. Say beautiful. Let's add that guy there, that guy there. Give it just a little bit more TLC. I'm just gonna manually kind of bring this up just a little bit. Just giving it a little roundness to it. Just kind of just eyeballing it. There's nothing really specific I'm doing in general. Okay, great. And then we can clip curve this bottom side so it's nice and straight. So clip curve, say something like that. Yeah, that should be fine. Now we can go ahead and give it a little bit of support here. So let's go ahead and add some edge loops. Say something like that, something like that. Let's add in something like this. So now if we round it off, we get something a little bit more like this. Thank you for your help and demonstration as always. Absolutely. Hey, in your opinion, what is the best practice for beginner character artist? Says Amir. The best thing I can recommend for character artist practice is blockouts. So start with like some of your favorite characters, the things that you love, and try to just kind of block them out as much as possible. Blockout method is a great method. In fact, a lot of 2D artists will do that. So it's really a good indicator of like, you know, like if we were to go like block out characters, just kind of get a sense of this, right? Taking characters like this, like Big Hero 6, taking a look at the concept and following the concept and breaking it down into simple shapes. There's a lot of great method in this. In fact, the more you can do this, the easier. And I do this for realistic characters and stylized characters. So the first recommendation is block out. Take some fun characters. Like one of the first characters I ever blocked out was Super Meat Boy. And if you don't know Super Meat Boy, there he is. You know what I mean? I started out with something like this. I took a look at some 3D models and how that looked, like some of the pops and some of the toys and stuff. And I took a look at the design and I thought, okay, what is he? You know, he's basically a squished cylinder with cylinder legs, cylinder hand or arm with like nubbies, little, you know, little fingies like jumping out here and stuff like that. So I really started with something, and then he has a gaping mouth and some eyes, right? And eyes are round, so they're just basically spheres at this point, and then it just is bulged over. And you just take a look at some of the stuff and you're like, okay, I could pretty much see how they did this. So you start with some fun, simple, enjoyable characters that you block out. I never push going to anatomy first and foremost because I feel like too many times you're gonna get hyper focused on anatomy, and when you get hyper focused on anatomy, that's where sometimes I feel like a lot of danger comes in, where you're just like, oh, I gotta like study arm, legs, torsos, brain, face, blah blah blah. There's so many things, right? And human anatomy is always something that I personally believe everybody knows what a human looks like, so it's a lot harder to achieve the human look out the gate unless you've had prior experience with like drawing and drawing humans and looking at it. You eventually want to get to the point, if you're going to do characters, that you are obviously really good at anatomy, which there are some fun tools about that, of course. If you go up here to the ZBrush Spotlight, go into Tool, there's an écrochet literally right here. You can double tap this guy, and it gives you a full female anatomy with skeleton. And of course, all of the muscles are named. But you get to this point when you've practiced some blockouts. So Saturday morning cartoons, this is a big one that we used to do at the 3D Character Workshop. So weird, fun, simple characters. But look at a concept. Take a look at something like Super Meat Boy, and then kind of block that out. And you just do this over and over and over again. Once you get comfortable with the blockout stage, then you start moving into, you know, welding things together, moving it. You can make some cool characters look good during blockout. In fact, let's try one thing real quick. So we're gonna do the IR Sculpt SpongeBob stuff here real fast. And let me see if it will let me go further down the rabbit hole. If you go far enough down my Instagram, that's gonna want me to sign in, isn't it? Show more. Let's see how far we can go. See, characters like this, I'll do something like, you know, something from Mario Brothers. Oh yeah, sign me in. Give me a second, we'll see. Let's see if it signs me in. But, you know, you just want to start with those simple stuff. If you can see this Bob Big Boy Funko Pop that I did, this one was cool because it was from a... please sign me in. If it won't sign me in, if you go down far enough, I was going to show you some Saturday morning cartoon stuff I did like 4 years ago, which was pretty cool. But you can see it's just blocking out. Just practice the block out. Come on, sign in, please. Okay, fine. Doesn't want to sign in. Whatever. But you get the idea, hopefully. Anyway, so yeah, blocking out. That's my highly recommended. Okay, let's put this guy in the middle. Okay, the reason why I want him in the middle is because we're going to do ArrayMesh. So we're going to go ahead and turn on ArrayMesh, turn on Transpose, and we're going to lock that position. And what we want to do with ArrayMesh is we want to spin this around so that it looks good, right? So we're going to go ahead and repeat, get about 5 legs. I like odd numbers. Odd numbers work out really well. And we're going to rotate this on the y-axis, and we're going to do this at 360 degrees. And boom. Kind of merge this together, say something like this. Here we go. I think this is a lot easier. Here we go. Scale that down. Don't really. We just need to kind of come in like such and let that join. There we go. And now that we did that with this, we can do the exact same thing with this guy right here. We'll say 5, not 27. And we'll rotate on the y-axis 360 degrees. Scale that down. Move that up. There we go. Yes, there we go. We got the makings of our chair. Let me mute myself for a second. I need to clear my throat 1 second. All right, tasty. All right. Anyway, thanks for the tip. Absolutely. Let's see, Mr. White, what's happening? Oh, also, Yar89 had a. Oh, sorry. Okay, no, you said hi to the Painted Dragon. What's up, Painted Dragon? How you doing, buddy? For a second, it just said nice seeing you, and then I was like, oh, is he leaving? Let's see. Hey, and thank you for the stream. What do you think about learning from 3D scans and trying to sculpt it using split screen and ZBrush? I'd say anything that helps you improve your ability to study anatomy and stuff, yes, absolutely do that. Absolutely. So having reference off onto the side and trying to replicate works out well. I really think that you want to have a good understanding of blocking out full characters before you start using scan data. So if you are somebody who's already done like a lot of blockouts and you're trying to push it to the next level, then I absolutely think, yeah, that should be totally fine. You know, there's nothing really wrong with that approach. Again, it's really what's best for you. I have écrachets everywhere at my house. I am surrounded by écrachets. I have two of anatomy tools, male and female écrachets that you can literally like take like big pieces. I got écrachet drawings on the wall. I got Raphael Grassetti's 3D printed. Like I have them everywhere. And then of course I always know there's one on the go with ZBrush. So it's really like whatever's best for you. At the end of the day, you really want to just make sure that you understand the foundation of what makes a human, and what makes that anatomy function. I would recommend starting out with maybe animal anatomy or insect anatomy, while their anatomy goes really deep. And guys like Eric Keller is a prime example of how deep anatomy can really go with like insects and bugs and stuff. At the end of the day, most people won't recognize the imperfections of the anatomy. So one of the first sculpts that I attempted to do before I started the blackout method was a spider. And actually, let me see something real quick. This goes back quite a while ago. Let me see if I can find it. But it was like a black widow, and a lot of people are like, dude, that's so cool. Like that looks great, you know? But it's wrong. It's wrong. Let me just see if I can find it on my phone real quick. I'll see if I could just kind of show you the picture real fast. We'll go full screen for that. Let me see if I can find it real quick, so I'll just look it up. But again, like, it's pretty cool because, you know, that ultimately, it just looks kind of neat, you know? Here, actually, let me go full screen. Full face mode. And let me show you some of the older stuff I've done real quick. It's going to be on my phone, so it might be a little small, which is why we'll hopefully be able to see it. How far back do we need to go? At some point, I keep scrolling, and then I keep, like, cringing the further back we get, and I'm like, ooh. See, this is actually, I don't know if you could see this. This is actually a block out of All Real Monsters. There we go. All Real Monsters character. That was like the first thing I'd really done in the 3D character workshop. Here's another one. Like, these are just blockouts. And looking back, these are actually kind of cool. And those are just BPR renders. If I go back super far, a donut. If you know the donut, you know. Oh my God, we're getting into some old stuff, guys. We're getting into some old stuff. But I love it because it shows a journey. This is why I don't ever get rid of this. I keep scrolling back. Around this point in my career, 2019 was when I started actually getting hired in 2019 with characters like this. Also, too, cosplay. I was a Bakugo for Halloween, which is pretty cool. We're going back. I know I have it here. This is why we're doing it. I have sculpted a Deadpool, but this one's terrible. Just FYI. That's for you, B. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Hold on. We'll get there. Let's see here. Oh, wow. Okay. This was posted in 2018, but here's a spider. Let's see if I can blow this up a little bit. So here's a Black Widow spider that I ended up doing and posting later, and this was like this. A lot of people like this post. They think this post is actually like pretty cool. I was like, oh, you know, this was fine. Like, this was some of the stuff that, like, when I started getting really serious about sculpting, I was like, okay, this stuff is kind of cool. But again, there's a lot wrong with this, but there's also a lot right with it. And most people are like, this was awesome. This was really cool, you know? And it's because I practiced something that wasn't traditional. So, but yeah, you go back far enough and you start seeing some wild stuff. In my first few years of sculpting, I didn't post anything. I was too terrified to post anything. I was like, that's not good. That's terrible. But, you know, you got to start somewhere. Hashtag not looking. Yep. Sorry, sis. Awesome. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Shane Olson streams are best for blocking out. Absolutely. Yeah. I learned my block out method from Shane as well. Shane really helped me out. Like I said, around 2019 is when I joined the 3D Character Workshop. And yeah, he really helped me go to that next level. Let's see here. Hey, let's see. Hey, I joined the stream right now. I just started sculpting the last few days. And should I focus on anatomy or face design? Should I start full body? Or actually just talking about that. We were just talking about find fun, cute characters, concepts, and practice doing simple things. Don't start too large. Like, this Krang character is actually a great starter character. I like making weird stuff like this, but believe it or not, no one can come in and say, this is a bad Krang, because he looks like Krang, he functions like Krang, and there's no real anatomy to him whatsoever. And he has a mouth and eyes, sure, but like, it's weird and it's cool. And start with that. Start with something simple. Starting with a full human, it's not a bad idea, but it's also one of those things that might be more problematic if you've never tackled anatomy before. So start at your own pace and don't be afraid to try new things. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, let's move a little bit further on this real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to lock this position now, and I'm going to move this a little bit more towards center. And I want to do the same thing here. I don't want to lock this position. I want to kind of move this a little bit more towards center. There we go, something like that. And relock that position. That should be fine. Now let's come back and let's go ahead and set up in the chair. We need to add in another cylinder. Say perfect, that looks good. And then let's come in here and let's do my magic delete loops. Bloop, 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 bloop. Come on down. Now this stuff, I'm not worried about the actual n-gons in this, because the reality is it doesn't really matter. These are going to get buried and pushed in. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this down. Say something like this. It's like Skrillex going on in the background. I love it. Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to push that in. Let's reverse that. Reverse that. We're going to come in here. We're going to add in a little bit of a gap. Say something like that. I'm going to control drag the whole thing. I'm going to push this up. Say something like that. I'm going to give it a new polygroup so I can select, mask this off, mask all this off. I'm going to drag this all the way up into his chair. Perfect. Okay. That's going to be pretty good, I think. So now we have that. And of course, too, we want to support some edge loops real fast. So let's come in here and let's grab in just a couple things. So we're going to go multiple edge loops. Get a little bit of topology in here. Nope, not that one. Let's come in here. Let's zoom in. Let's actually add in some single edge loops where we want some sharpness to be. This is where I do like some edge loop support. So I come in like this, something like that. These are buried, so it doesn't really matter. But this is kind of how I think. So we're going to come in here and do this. There we go. And just come in here right here. there, move that there. So now when I turn around and actually smooth this down, there we go. That looks a lot nicer, and that's all one piece. Perfect. Now for this case, we're gonna come in here, like, we're gonna select this chair, and we're gonna go to our array mesh, and let's actually make this into one mesh. And we'll do the same thing with the wheels, make into one mesh. Now what we can do is we can actually go in the middle, grab these three objects here, and we can now center this. Nope, not do that. We'll just do this manually. Actually, instead of doing it this way, forget that. Let's not do it that way. Let's actually do this. We're actually going to go ahead and let's go into Transpose Master. You're absolutely welcome. Not a problem, Lise. Don't forget to try to have fun. Don't forget to have fun while trying to learn is the biggest thing in your opinion. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Please have fun. That's the most important part. Absolutely. We're in this because we are passionate and we love these, you know, we love what we do. But at the end of the day, yeah, have fun with it. Like, there's no need to fret, no need to stress. Get in there, enjoy what you do. What's up, ML Creative? Bradley! What's happening, bud? How you doing, man? Everybody, if you guys don't know Bradley from the Stylist League, you gotta say, what up to my boy Bradley. There we go. Okay, we're gonna actually come in here and put this more in the center. I want to rotate that around just a little bit. So we can actually shorten this up a little bit more, scale it down. Trying to center this as best I can by hand because I'm being, whatever, I'm being meticulous. Yeah, there we go, perfect. That's good. That'll work. There we go. That's better. Let's send that back. Would you like to send that back? Fun is temporary, scars are forever. I mean, you know, we all live in our own world. How am I looking younger? That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I'm a vampire. I don't know. All right, we're almost done for the day. I'm going to be calling it a little early today, guys, just because I'm tired and I got a lot of stuff I need to do. But we still have a few more minutes before I do that. But yeah, let's final this guy up. So let's actually, I want to prep him to move him into Substance Painter. That's going to be the ultimate goal. So let's go ahead and take a look. First things first is that I'm just going for a final render and eventually just some textures that I might push back into for the 3D print process. So I already have him unwrapped and he's actually 75,000. So he's actually about 150 triangles, which is fine for the resolution. I don't need it too insane. But let's do this real quick. Let's actually take this color and let's go ahead and do just a few extras here just to make this one piece. So what I want to do with this guy right here is I think I want to weld it together and then get a ZRemesher out of this. So I'm going to subdivide a few times, get it super dense, and then I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to do the DynaMesh approach. I'm going to pick a resolution, and I'm going to DynaMesh this, and that's a little too soft, so let's try that again. That's perfect. This will just ensure that it's watertight. Say great, wonderful. And then I'm going to now come in here and make some some different poly groups. Let's make some drastically different poly groups. Whee! Come here like that. Not going super perfect with it, but let's go ahead and save that history for that type of detail that we have. And then let's come over here to deformation, and let's just polish by groups, get something nice and clean. And then from here, let's go to ZRemesher, turn off DynaMesh, we don't need that anymore. And let's actually go with 10,000 total points, adaptive, turn down. We want to keep groups, turn that down to 0, bada bing, bada boom. ZBrush makes you younger? Yeah, exactly. This model looks fun. Thanks, man. Yeah, this is Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, great. So here you go. This is low enough. This is 10,000. For what I want to achieve, I don't need to try to see how much lower this can go. This is fine. So I'm going to subdivide a few times, and then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to project our details. So I'm going to project history. Just reshapes that a little bit more for me. Cool. And then for this guy right here, this is already fine. So now what I'm going to do is, let's go to geometry. So I have subdivision level 3, and I need subdivision level 3. So subdivision level 3 here, and then I'm also just going to group by normals. Boom, just group by normals there for a second. Perfect. And then I'm going to weld that. I'm going to merge that down. So let's move that up, and then let's go ahead and merge down. And now with that subdivision level 3, that now keeps all of that, right? So now I have these together, so I can drop this down and raise this up. Let's just fill the color as entire. Sounds good. All of this is together as one thing, and this will be fine, so I can subdivide this up. And since these are not welded together, what I can do is create an ID map on a lot of this stuff too, using the PolyGroups. So let's come over here. Let's just do this. You know what, actually, let me show you guys something. So this is something I've been moving towards. You all know the Z plugin, UV, and stuff like that. You guys know this. I've shown this a bunch of times. Something I've been doing more lately is Cinema 4D uses Ministry of Flat, which is the exact same algorithm, auto unwrapper that Substance Painter uses. So something I've been doing is taking the low mesh, the way it is right now, and then I've just actually been going to GOZ. I'm going to GOZ these wheels real quick. I'm going to kick these into C4D for a second. I'm going to get a quick unwrap, and then I'm going to push that back to ZBrush. So then I don't have to think about it. I just need UVs real quick, but I do want them to be packed and a little bit cleaner. So this will be a little bit easier for me to deal with, instead of, like, they're both great tools, but this is something I've been doing more, just a little bit cleaner. Come on, give me this. So this popped over here. So here right now is what I currently have. So here are my wheels, of course. Let's zoom out. Perfect. It's quite big. That's okay. I'm going to come over here to UVEdit. I'm going to select my wheels, and I'm just going to go ahead and set UV projection, and then I'm just going to go automatic unwrap in a cubic format, and say apply. Let that think for 5 seconds. That's fine. And then UV packing. Let me see here. Do a little bit of math. Can I do times? I can. Yeah, cool. Awesome. So I can either type in 4096 or I can say times 4. So I can do that. say apply. So I can get a 4K UV if I want. And that packed it. It's fine. That's good enough for government work, as they say. You can also pick bounding box. You can also pick spacing. Like I can just do a spacing here at 2%, give me a little bit more breathing room, which is actually what it pretty much set it to, and that's fine. So it just unwrapped it for me real quick. That's cool. Now I'll just repick the wheels, come up here to extension, GOZ, and I'll export that out. I'll send it straight back. The naming convention stayed the same. So now here are my wheels back in ZBrush for me. And if we just do a quick solo that out, and let's go over here to my UV map, drop my bump to 0, and then do my morph target UV. Boom, I have my UVs that are packed, which is perfectly fine. And I have my subdivisions still intact. So there's my subdivision level 3. So now I have UVs on that. And that was just a quick send, no big deal. So same thing here. I can do the exact same thing. Drop that to its low resolution. And just go ahead and GOZ that one. I could do all of them all at once, but some of them already have UVs. So I really don't need to do this more than I absolutely need to. So now I don't need the wheels. Just want to kind of just kick this over here. And so now I'm going to go ahead and just auto unwrap this cubic, just apply. Boom, that's fine. Auto packing, space of 2, done. So that already had some sort of UVs on it, but obviously they weren't the best UVs because we just used something that had temporary UVs, and I really just ended up killing those. So let's just go ahead and send that back. Again, keeps the naming convention perfectly intact. So now, same thing, we just check it real quick. Yeah, there we go, easy. So that works out for me, so really simple. Does exactly what I needed to do. All right. Do I have a duplicate here somewhere? I do have a duplicate here somewhere. Where do I have that? I have it right there. Okay, that's fine. So I can actually just go ahead and delete that one real fast, and let's just go ahead and move this up back where it belongs. There we go. This right here, I'm actually going to go ahead and just say save next at this point, because now I'm just prepping. And I can get rid of this whole folder here. And there we go. Perfect. And let's do the same thing with the seat. So this is, so we have the wheels, and then we have, let's just rename this. We got the wheels, we have the seats, and what we have the frame. Done, right? Let's take the seat. And I'll just come in here. Actually, you know what? 1, 2, 3. Why did I do it that way? 1, 2, 3. Let's do this. I'm gonna try something real fast. I just saved it. I'm gonna merge this down. So now I just have this whole thing. It's one piece. I have my subdivisions. Let me go ahead and just set that down. That's fine. Let's just GOZ that. There we go. Yeah. Let's not make things more complicated than they need to be. Let's just, done. There you go. And that's packed. That's fine. Send back. There. So now I've moved that all in the same thing. That's done. There we go. There we go. So now I have all that. So I have my wheels and my seat, and that will be perfect. There we go. So yeah, so it's cool. So we're gonna be able to move into, so I'll be texturing him, I'll be doing some stuff, and then we can do some final renders towards the end. Let's see here, let's see, Pardon me. What happened to the artist gallery screensaver that go across ZBrush when you go idle? It would showcase the art from ZBrush Central. I don't see that anymore. So that is still there. No, we didn't get rid of it. We did not get rid of it. The screensaver is still there. There is a lot of migration stuff happening to the websites. You know, we're still two companies coming together. So we did see a couple support tickets going on that. So probably in the next update they'll fix that if they found that it was broken. I actually don't usually have the screensaver turned on. Like it's defaulted at 60 minutes for me. I usually turn this off, so I never came across that. But we have heard some people talking about how it's ultimately that it didn't turn on for them. So we already have somebody taking a look at it. So again, thank you for that. Awesome. Okay. So now we got our controller here real quick. There is something else that I wanted to do real fast. And that was for this particular screen. I did want to create like some sort of like screen texture or something for that. Like I wanted to have some lines. I didn't really plan that out. So let me see something real quick. Maybe we can quote cheat it just a little bit. So let's type in Krang, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, controller. Probably gonna get all sorts of weird stuff. Like, yeah, game controller. Okay, so then let's look up like sci-fi computer interface. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay. I want to create my own at some point. What if I typed in computer beep boops? None of that does actually what I wanted to do. That's okay. That's okay. All right. You know what? Let's just to put something on the screen here. I'm gonna subdivide a couple more. Just get a little bit more detail here. And then I don't know. We don't really need anything. I only got a couple minutes. I don't know. I'll think of something. I'm kind of drawing a blank here. Oh, you know what? You know what we could do? Actually, hold on. I thought of it. Let me see something real fast. Let me see real quick. This will just kind of be fun. I think we can do this. Hold on. Let me see. Let's go to my art section real quick. I have an image. I want to do. Okay. I got an idea. Let me go ahead and just save this. Let's go here. Let's go here. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go snipping tool. Perfect. Okay. Took us. You guys will see it in 1 second. Hold on. Okay. That should be good. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's zoom in here real quick. Let's drop this down to its lowest resolution. I think I have UVs on it. I do. Perfect. Okay. I do have UVs on it. That's fantastic. So I want to up the resolution quite a bit. And then I want to morph these UVs. And I'm pretty sure I want to look at it like this. And then I want to come into texture. And I want to import an image. Okay, and then that's fine. Let's hit Z. Just zoom this in a little bit more. Hit Z again. And we'll rotate this around. We'll make this a little bit bigger. Say something like that. This should be pretty good. I'm going to take the paintbrush. Make sure that my my samples and my spot projection is on. Sounds great. And I'm going to paint him on there. Okay, great. Yes, yes, yes. So let's actually let's do this real quick. Let's just blow that up just a little bit more. Turn that off. There we go. Say something like that. Just really kind of get that painted on there a little bit. And then what I want to do on top of this, let me see something real fast. So let me type in like screen static. Ah, yes. Let's grab that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and see if I could just save this image real quick. Let's come up here to Krang. Okay, fine, that's fine. I'm gonna save this off. I can't show too much, so I'm gonna go here. Let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. Let's say great, save, perfect. And then I'm gonna come in here to, I'll look at the chat in 1 second, guys. So let me come in here, grab the static, bring that in. So let me move this aside. So I'm gonna grab this guy, let's close him out. So I'm gonna rotate it around, say something like this. Okay, great. I'm gonna hide this just for a second, and we're gonna drop the RGB intensity down. Yeah. There we go. We're just gonna paint a low version of that real quick. Okay, that's too much. Gonna go pretty low with that. Okay. So let's actually come here to, it's a little hard to see with this one. Let's see. Spotlight. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's do that. Just paint just a little bit of static on there. Boom, like that. Okay, great. And let's just go ahead and unmorph that. There we go. Boom! There we go. There. We got that happening. A little Easter egg there. There we go. There we go, there we go. Yeah. That could be kind of cool. Yeah. We'll do something a little bit, we'll probably do something a little bit more in depth later, but for right now, just given the time that we got and so forth, that's where we are. So, all right, let's just do a quick render real fast and let's call it a day. Thank you guys for hanging out. So let's do this. So we're gonna come up here. Let me show you guys the way I usually do a BPR render. So I'm gonna come through and just get a simple light happening here with a little bit of some warmth. Not that warm, that's crazy. Just the kind of a warm white light. Turn that off, select a new light, and let's go ahead and just get a nice rim light. So blast that rim light super hard and kind of dial that in just a bit. And then let's also kind of make that, you know, we can go a little bit red with that if we want, a little bit warm on that tone. So now we got something like this that's doing pretty well. Let's go ahead and put on perspective and let's turn on the floor because floor is pretty good. There we go. And then let's come in here real quick, fast and in a hurry, and let's go to our render settings. Now the render settings, I like to do some fun stuff with this. 2024 is off the charts. Absolutely. We try our best. Hello, Ian. Let's see here quick. When can we see the updated version of ZBrush with repaid version for the moved topological brush. So we'll be doing an update soon on that. So as soon as the update is ready, and we as a company will announce. So. Okay, cool. So let's see here. So just want to get, so some of the things, I'll go to render properties, ambient occlusion, and wax preview. It's not like a way I like to fake subsurface scatter a bit with BPR render. And then what I like to do is go to material, go up to modifiers, go up to wax modifiers, and just increase that strength, which just gives me kind of that waxy feel. And he's like a brain, right? So we can actually go pretty heavy with that. So we can go like 50 strength. Let's do that. And then I'm going to smack the microphone and blow your guys' eardrums out. I'm going to go 0.6 on the G strength with an angle of about 40. 35 to 40 replicates the sun with rays at about 24. And then for my BPR AO, I usually kick the resolution to about 4000. I don't do much more than that. And then I'll do a test render. Boom. So we get something like that, and that looks pretty cool. For what we're going for today, this will be fine. And then we're going to go with BPR filters, and then I like to add in some filters. So I like to add in my radial overlay, and I'll usually kind of move the position to highlight the character a bit more. And I'll try to find a relatively fun color in the background, you know, so maybe some green or some yellow or, you know, something that I think might be kind of fun. So maybe we'll do like a little bit of green, and then I'll take the back color and kind of pick in that green, and we could drop the opacity down. Now this is also quite bright, so we can go more on the darker side of things just to kind of give us a little bit, or we can keep it black if we choose to, up to you, whatever you think looks pretty good. And then let's bring in some sharpness and a little bit of Orton, just so we can get a visual of what our character is looking like. And yeah, I'll say honestly, that's, if we wanted to add some textures to it, we can actually add in some texture overlay and bring in a little bit of like some smoke or weirdness to it. So let's drop that down to like say 0. It's a little pixelated. Say something like this. And then of course too, we can kind of mask that off and just add the radius a bit. And we can actually make this kind of greenish smoke if we would like. I'm not liking that, so let's turn that off. This will be fun. This will be pretty good for now. So this will be good enough for the work. I can also put some other materials and stuff on there, but I'm kind of digging this. This is fine. So just to kind of show it off a little bit, get a quick render. Nothing too crazy. So let's go ahead and hit Shift R. And yeah, we're going to call it a day. So thank you guys so much. Yeah, the material itself too. The material here is actually a toy material for the eyes. So depending on where you angle it, we'll get that kind of reflection right in there. So if I wanted to do a close-up here, we can definitely do that. I'm going to be, like I said, we're going to be going in and doing some textures and stuff like that in Substance Painter, and then we'll do a final Cinema 4D Redshift render. And I'll probably just do that off on my own because we have another project that I want to start very soon. But all right, thank you guys very much for being here. Krang appreciates every single one of you. Eventually he'll take over and get the turtles where he wants them to be in that turtle soup. You never know. But until then, thank you guys very, very much. Smacking the microphone is a very important part of the process. Absolutely. So I appreciate you guys. And again, don't forget, you know, obviously to like and subscribe. I'm here most Wednesdays and stuff like that, and really just love hanging out with you. But if you're new to ZBrush and you would like to, again, get into it, and especially if you're a student, then just go over to maxon.net, go over there to buy, scroll down to the bottom. Of course, we do have a package for Adobe and Substance, and so if you're trying to get into both, go for it. But we have a student teacher license, again, super affordable. This is US pricing, so wherever you are, if you have a EDU, you're part of a college, I believe high school, check it out. Go ahead and apply, and that will get you 1 year for about price of a meal since inflation is real. And that rhymed every time. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Again, thank you to everyone who hung out. Really appreciate you guys. And we will talk to you guys later. See ya. Bye.